You right there, guys? How you doing? It's Speed here. If there's one boss I'm always excited to fight in a game, it's obviously going to be the final one. Both vanilla and true final bosses count, so let's go. The Mario and Luigi series almost always has an amazing final boss at the end. This was a close call between Elder Princess Shroob and Dark Bowser. The Elder Princess Shroob fight had an incredible atmosphere. This is two species battling for survival, with the Shroobs literally throwing everything they have at you, whereas the fight with Dark Bowser once again has the fate of the world on the line, and both Bowser and the Mario Bros have their best fights in the game. So which one of the two am I going with? Yeah, f*** my rules. I'm playing both of them at this spot. They're both amazing fights that use as much of the power system as they can, that I still enjoy it even to this day. The final bosses in most of the recent Kirby games have been killing it since Adventure Wii. The addition of a Z-axis for Kirby really increased what the boss fights in this series were capable of, and this fight definitely took advantage of that. All of his attacks either cover a huge amount of the arena or lock directly onto Kirby, making for a great challenge, and that's only phase 1. In phase 2, his attacks can get absolutely ridiculous.
A black hole already? Jesus Christ, mate!
This guy spent 30 years trapped in a capsule, and that definitely did a number on him. As you can tell, he is unleashing all of his rage on you. The music even fits this during the first half of this second phase, whilst the other two pieces are absolutely beautiful. It plays well, and is a great challenge, even if you have one of the OP abilities. If this is what 3D Kirby can do on his first try, then I'm excited for what's next. The boss fights in the DLC of Cuphead really felt more grand in terms of spectacle, and where this was most notable was with its final fight. Chef Saltbaker's sudden reveal as the antagonist was really effective, and his final fight is something alright, as he kicks off the fight murdering all of the food items you collected throughout the campaign, and this means you'll have to pay attention to where all of the food is coming, making for an intense first phase. The second phase is also really exciting, as there's always something to dodge, and sending the Shakers back to him is really satisfying. Once one of those takes enough damage, they're just... Unfortunately, the final third is really underwhelming, with both of the last two phases only having the one attack. If it wasn't for that, he'd be much higher. It's a disappointing end to the fight, but the first two phases are absolutely incredible. Also, this psychopath murders all of this food and Dolly gets his community service. You're one lucky bastard, mate. Ever since its reveal around the halfway point, she's been built up as a huge threat, and that pays off excellently with over 150 HP, a powerful attacks, becoming invincible and killing off the entire audience. And it's at this point that one of the most powerful cutscenes in the series plays out, which smashes her invincibility. At this point it becomes an all-out battle that can be pretty challenging, but it's worth it when you get the satisfaction of seeing her blow up after the fight. Pretty much everything I'd want in an RPG final fight is here. However, the next entry is my favourite final fight in an RPG, but you can bet I'm excited to see how this fight plays out in the remake. Persona 5 Royal has become one of my favourite games of all time, with two of the reasons why being its characters and its battle system. There's actually two final bosses in this game depending on how you play it, and whilst the fight with Yaldabaoth is definitely an honourable mention given my first time playing through this fight was like the whole game, was a once in a lifetime experience, I just think Dr. Maruki works better as a final boss. Whereas Yaldabaoth kinda came out of nowhere, Dr. Maruki is a character you spend time with during his confidence, so the build-up's much better. And I also prefer how the fight plays out gameplay-wise, as you have to use the baton pass to break through his tentacles to attack him directly. Admittedly, the second phase isn't as strong, because if you've done the confidence, which you most likely have at this point, you can end this phase in 2 turns, and the third phase is basically a cutscene. But the emotional way of the fight carried it. I do kinda wish every Phantom Thief got a chance to shine in this fight, because I know a final fight with every Phantom Thief would be awesome. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition practically dominated my gaming in 2021, and I don't regret it. Being a bleeding serial killer was absolute bliss, and you have loads of different characters to play as. The boss fight sadly isn't one of the game's strong points, or as all you really do for the most part is use an item after a certain attack is used and then just wail on it. But the final boss is pretty awesome. I love how it uses everything in the battle system, using items to disable his attack in the first phase. I know I just criticized the other fights of how they used items, but he only used each item once to break through his defense with a really satisfying sound effect, and then weakening him to a form of weak point smashing the second phase, which is very satisfying to do, especially if it's the last hit. But the best part of this fight is the music, hands down. This is easily my favorite final boss theme. Two of the main reasons I loved my time with Celeste was how it handled mental health issues and its challenging levels, which were brutal to get through but very satisfying to conquer. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the hard difficulty symbolized to me at least that whilst bad mental health can be hard to fight against, it is worth conquering it. And the fight with Badalin is no exception to that. The fight plays out across the level with her shooting orbs and firing lasers at you, and it's an absolute thriller throughout. I even love the part where Badalin is like, you can't do this, and then Madeline is like, yeah, f that shit, I can. And the end of this fight is extremely heartwarming. Given I'm a huge fan of Splatoon's gameplay, it probably ain't a surprise that this used to be my favorite final boss. Like the Badalin fight, this fight plays out over a level, as every time you send his punches back at him because the pillar didn't learn the first time, or the first 20 times, more of the level opens up. I do really like how several of the level gimmicks come back. It really gives this fight a sense of finality, but what really got this fight this high is the last hit. That's one of the greatest final boss themes kicks off as you push him back to deliver the last hit. This final phase never fails to give me the goosebumps. And sadly, this is going to be the only thing worth coming back to in Splatoon 1 in a couple of months. Thanks, Nintendo! And this is why I knew a final boss with all of the Phantom Thieves would be awesome. The hack and slash combat in this game was an absolute blast because pretty much every second of it is non-stop action. So yeah, whilst the first phase of this fight doesn't do anything special gameplay-wise, it's still a lot of fun to beat the crap out of it. The second phase is absolutely fantastic. Taking out all of those orbs one at a time felt so good, whereas by using their weaknesses and then using the all-out attacks, or using items to increase your showtime gauge because screw it, it's the final boss, when else are you going to use them? And once they're all down, it becomes an all-out battle ending in one heck of a finisher. I don't think this game could have ended in a better way. Alright then, here's some other final bosses I loved. Caglair's Soul from Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga DX. I liked how every move became useful at some point during this fight, also it now allows you to go first. Giant Bowser from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. A really fun platforming challenge that's really chaotic to get through, co-op or not. Yodobo from Persona 5 Royal. Already explained this one. The true final boss is Sea of Stars. Don't want to spoil this one as the game's still relatively new, but both of its phases were really enjoyable to fight. And finally, all of the bosses in the transition. Freedom Planet 2 became my favorite side-scroller very quickly because of how much there was to love about this game, and the fact that the original was already my favorite prior. And the bosses are no exception to that. And picking a favorite fight in the game, oh, that was easy. This is a fight that's been built since the start, and my god did it pay off of its 6 phases. Sure, all 6 of the phases are tricky to beat, but that just made them more fun to learn and satisfying to knock out. Combined with 3 amazing boss fiends, and I loved every second of this fight. No doubt about it, Murga's not only my favorite final boss, but my favorite boss in general. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Take care. I do really like how several